Takes a lot of courage and solidarity to vote down a contract after you've been locked out that long, but these folks believe that what they're fighting for is right, and it's great to see that kind of commitment to this.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Workers at the Mart Mill have been locked out for over 3 months now. And last week, they just rejected the company's most recent offer, which still did not meet their demands. Takes a lot of courage and solidarity to vote down a contract after you've been locked out that long, but these folks believe that what they're fighting for is right, and it's great to see that kind of commitment to this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough call. These folks have families to feed, and they're making some tough decisions, trying to do what they think is right. Could you remind us, where is Mart Mill at in Alabama?
Yeah, the Mart Mill is in Cottonton, Alabama. So that tells you where that gives you an idea right now. No, it's just south of Fort Benning, Georgia. It is 30 minutes south of Fort Benning, Georgia, about 45 minutes south of Columbus, Georgia. So it's in that area.
Right on the Georgia line.
Right on the Georgia line. Yeah, it's so close to the Georgia line that when I've been down there, my phone is constantly changing from Eastern to Central time. And it is very irritating. I don't know what I would do if I lived there. You'd have to turn that feature of your phone off and pick a time zone that you live most of your life by. You'd have to turn that feature of your phone off because it is not helpful when you're that close to the line. But let's remind, I also, in addition to reminding folks whereabouts the Mart Mill is, I also want to remind people how we got here. And that's that we got here because these folks have been overworked for the past 4 or 5 years to such an extent that over the last 2 years, the average hours worked in the facility are 40% overtime. So 40% of all the hours worked are overtime hours. That's how much these people are having to work. Their production side is like 50 people understaffed. It's just really, really like they're having to work way too much. And they're having to work that much despite 2 very important clauses in their contract that the company is trying to remove. And those are the Sunday premium, which says you get time and a half on Sundays and double time if the Sunday is over 40 hours, and hog law, which states that the whole shift turns into time and a half after you've gone over 16 hours, which honestly, working over 16 hours is just insane. Like, that's not safe, especially in these big paper mill these big paper mills with these crazy machines, all these chemicals and all this stuff. I mean, it's really actually a dangerous job. And so the idea that you're working on it over 16 hours, that the boss is asking you to work on it over 16 hours, really speaks to their inability to manage, that their poor job of managing. The fact that they have to ask somebody to stay over 16 hours, that means the manager of the plant are doing a bad job, right? Because not enough people are staying, obviously, to properly staff the mill. And so the company is wanting to take away these things. And so rightfully, the workers are like, you're already working this insane amount already. What's going to happen if these penalties are taken away? You're going to work us even more, obviously. Mm-hmm. That's like the obvious thing that's going to happen. One of these people that I talked to, he said that over the last 2 years, he had worked an average of 49% overtime. 49% of all the hours worked were overtime. Okay, that's just insane. And so they're like, no way are we letting you take these things out of the contract because you'll just run us ragged if you do that. And, obviously. And the company was so insistent on taking these out of the contract that they said, okay, look, we'll give you a $30,000 bonus. And that tells you that this isn't really about the money. This is about the time that would be taken from them, right? Because they voted it down, even with a $30,000 one-time ratification bonus. Because even with that, over the life of this contract, you still end up losing money. But then at the next contract, it's not much money that they would end up losing because of the $30,000 bonus. But the next contract, you're not going to get a $30,000 bonus, right? And that's the deal. That's the thing. And so they're wanting to keep these provisions in there, keep the monetary compensation of these provisions in there, the penalties for the overwork in there, for the people that come in after them. Because this is this is a mill that's been open since 1966. There are generations of people working there, before the lockout. There was grandfathers and fathers and sons that were all working in it together. And so they're thinking about, this is a real community job, and people are thinking about folks that come after them. And it's important that their time is protected.
Yeah, I think that's huge what you just laid out, that folks are considering what happens after they leave, right? Because it'd be easy for some of the members who are close to retirement to say, let me just get that bonus and move on,
right,
and just coast on out of here these last couple of years. But that takes true solidarity to understand how the contract's going to impact everybody and how it's going to impact folks even after you're gone.
Yeah.
Even after you're no longer impacted, but the impact of your vote and your decisions will continue to carry on over the years. And I think that's just that's a testament to the organizing there in that local and the community they've built, that they are willing to recognize that and to look at it from the big picture. Yeah,
and the support from the older members is really that. I mean, it's a lot of it is older members, actually. The median tenure of an employee at this place is over 20 years.
Wow.
So more than half of that's what the union is.
These folks have given a lot to this plant.
Right.
That's a lot of years.
These people have given a lot to this plant, a lot of years, but that also illustrates that the people that voted down this contract resoundingly the first and now the second time, they're not young guns that are looking out for themselves. They're people that I talked to that's been working there 35 years, that's looking at retirement shortly, and they're like, they're telling me exactly what you just said, Adam, that I could have voted yes, and not that my one vote yes would have mean we accepted, but by that logic, if I had accepted this contract, I would have actually been better off as an individual, because I'm retiring next year. 60 of these people have already retired since the lockout began. So a lot of these people, they would have actually been better off. But they voted no because they're thinking about the people that are working there now that are younger and the people that are going to come after them.
Right. They're thinking about the future and not just themselves.
Yeah.
And they're thinking about the community and not just themselves. And that's what unionism is all about.
So so from the start, their thing has been no concessions, no concessions, no concessions, which is like the idea that no concessions has to be a rallying cry today. In 2022, with this crazy labor market, with this company having made more money than they ever have in their history in 2021, $3.4 billion of profit, the executive team getting 53% compensation increases in 2022. The idea that their rallying cry is just don't take from us is really, really, that should show you the difference between the sides here. You've got this one side of folks who are saying, don't take from me, don't steal from me, don't steal from my community, don't take money that would be circulating in rural Alabama and send it to New York or DC or wherever the hell, right? That's one side. And the other side is a group of people that just on average, the CEO, I think, got a 300% raise in 2022, but the average of the executive team got a 53% raise. That's the other side, and they're saying, we want to take from you, right? So these are the sides, okay? So that's been the rallying cry for the locals here for this whole time, and the other side is saying, well, how can we save face because y'all have the Sunday premium pay? We don't want to give it to you because no other mill in our organization has Sunday premium. How can we save face? How can we have integrity? Blah, 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 blah. And so what the negotiating team has done, and that they seem, from talking to the members, they seem to have support to do this, is that they have shifted from saying you have to keep this language, these words in the contract, to you have to maintain somehow the same compensation. Okay? So if with the maintenance of Sunny Premium and Hog Law, we would have made, X amount. If you want to take this out, you've got to figure out a way to put X amount in the contract, not as a ratification bonus, but as a general wage increase or as an increase to our retirement funds or an increase to the healthcare, etc. Right? You get the idea. And so that has been the shift that the negotiating committee has made recently. And so there has been some movement on that, which is welcome. I think that my understanding is that the company has moved 4 or 5% to getting to the 10%. Right? So if you would be 10% more compensated with these provisions in there, then they're about 5% there. They're about halfway there. But the thing is no concessions, right? And that's what these people are rallying around. They're saying, no, you got to give us the whole 10%. You got to at least maintain, right? That's what we want. We don't want to meet halfway between you taking 10% and not taking anything. We don't want you to take anything.
Right.
We don't want you to take anything. And so that's what the contract offer was, more or less. We could get into some of the details of it and where all that money was, but that was the gist, is that between general wage increases, healthcare, and retirement, they were about halfway from where they started to just not taking anything to just maintaining the status quo. And so so the company sent that as a quote-unquote last, best, and final, which that doesn't mean anything, to the membership, or to the negotiating committee. The International wanted the membership to vote on it. Membership voted on it, and they voted it down. They voted it down resoundingly. And so now they're going back to the negotiating table. The company was wanting them back at work on January 16th because a lot of their help was only contracted actually through this week. So we'll see what the company does with this. But the company, has been making moves to obviously that they're anticipating a shift. They were anticipating a shift. They were anticipating, we think, myself and the union leadership believes that they were anticipating these people going back to work because the trailers were leaving, the fences were coming down, all of this stuff that's indicative of the lockout. This is all changing. And so their help is leaving after this week. A lot of the help is leaving after this week. A lot of the scabs, the dirty, rotten, no good scabs, right? They're leaving after this week. And so we're going to see what happens and how motivated the company is to get them back to work on January 16th. But the Bobby Watson, president of one of the locals down there, he feels pretty confident that that they can get the company to move to just not taking anything. So we're behind them. We're hopeful that that they're able to maintain, and we'll definitely keep you updated as this progresses. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Sending our solidarity down to the United Steelworkers at the Mart Mill. Best of luck. Stay strong.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.